Short-term rentals are mostly dead, but they can be done right when they're used in the right situation. Today in this video, we're gonna be talking with Phillip, one of our great SubTo leaders over on the East Coast, talking about his strategy, how he's utilizing short-term rental in the commercial space, and actually doing this strategy the right way. It's very unique, but the reality is these types of deals are happening on a daily basis. It's just very few people are actually talking about it. So in this video, you're gonna be seeing the breakdown, how he found the deal, how he structured the deal, and you will see also how you can do this too. If you're busy buying businesses and killing it in the business acquisition game, do you have time to buy real estate? Well, I think you do if you are buying deals from other investors and doing it the way that Phillip, my good friend here in Virginia, is doing it. He bought a deal on a hybrid, part SubTo, part seller finance, and he turned it into a midterm rental. Let's talk to Phil about how he found the deal, what he went through to get it structured, and where the money came from, and what kind of money he's making on this deal. Meanwhile, this dude is also buying freaking businesses. Phil, what's up, brother? Good to see you. What's your next business you're gonna buy?
I might buy like an electrician, plumber, HVAC, or even a roofing company, actually.
Are you still excited about landscaping?
Somewhat. Isn't that good enough profit margins for it to make sense in the long term? So we are going to stabilize our one, kind of scale a little bit, and then sell it off maybe in a few years.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah,
so you're excited about electrical business, plumbing business, construction related stuff.
Yeah.
A little bit better margins. I feel like with like landscaping, it's a great business for a lot of like beginner business buyers.
Yes, exactly.
And it satisfies like the laundromat buyers, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, hey, I can make $5 grand, $6 grand a month. Yeah. But for a super sophisticated guy like you, it's like, I want to make 500 grand a year. I want to make 3 million a year. I want to make 4, 5, 6 million a year.
Yeah.
So you got to get into like the construction trades where there's a little bit more sophistication in the labor, like plumbing, electrical, like what you're jumping into.
And it's not automated.
No, it's not automated. And it also can't be replaced. Landscaping, I feel like at some point can kind of be replaced with just really inexpensive labor.
Yeah.
But a plumber, electrician, that's skilled labor. They have to know what the heck they're doing, and most times they have to be licensed, whereas a landscaper doesn't really have to be.
Exactly.
So you're busy doing this and buying businesses. How the hell do you have time to buy a SubTo hybrid deal?
Well, like you, I like to have a network, and people bring me the deals that I can underwrite real quick based on just simple math. And then from there, if it checks that box, then I'll kind of do more due diligence and understand what I'm looking at, what I'm buying at. And then from there, I look at exits, like what kind of exits can I do with this particular property? How can I get it to the highest and best use? And so that's what I end up doing. And all of that basically takes 15 minutes of my time, and then I just move on to the next deal if I have a deal. Otherwise, I look at other businesses.
Would you say your strongest strength is underwriting and positioning an asset?
I would say my strongest suit would be basically understanding the highest and best use, like the strategy-wise, I can do either long-term, mid-term, co-living, short-term. Those have to all check the boxes as far as like numbers-wise. Like I want to make at least $1,000 per door net, if it makes sense. Otherwise, then it doesn't make sense for me to spend my time doing that.
I like this total, like, I'm not going to touch a deal unless I net $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
You have to say no to probably half the deals that other people say yes to, which is actually a good thing. I tell people the best skill you could learn that Phil has mastered is how to say no.
Yeah.
Like, not my deal, 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 and be unapologetic about it like Phillip's been. So I love that. $1,000 a door net means in his pocket after vacancy, after CapEx, after all of these other things, because it's not worth your time to deviate from buying a business if you're not going to make $1,000 a month.
Exactly.
Okay, so what strategy did you guys have to do to get this one to make that much money?
So the seller was a tire landlord, and he was basically got a tenant that basically left and trashed the place. And so he was aware that he didn't want to pay taxes on the sale of the property due to his elderly age. And so what we ended up doing was taking over his existing mortgage, what you teach us basically, and then we seller financed his equity.
A little hybrid action.
Hybrid action, exactly. And so what we ended up doing is we structured a 0 down payment and a 0 interest on his seller equity. So a straight principal payments.
So good.
So amazing. Super amazing. So that total debt that we have to cover is $1,800 a month.
Dang.
And we make about $5,000 to $6,000 gross on it.
Are you primarily doing midterm and short term, kind of like a combo between the two?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and your management structure, are you managing it yourself? Do you have somebody else doing it?
I have someone else doing it.
And that's what they're focused on?
Yep, exactly. Primarily my brother.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And he likes to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's his day job.
Why wouldn't you want to manage the asset yourself?
Because my time is better used doing more higher income producing activities, right? Yeah. Underwriting businesses, making relationships, making more capital. Hey, what's up guys? I'm here at 2900 Dumbarton Road, and this is a duplex that I ended up buying about 4.5 years ago, and it does extremely well in my portfolio. So some of the things that we had to repair when we bought this property was we had to add a brand new roof. We had to basically put new handrails for compliance and legal, or not legal, but county requirements. New doors, new storm doors, new lights. We had to repair the HVAC as well, so it's a lot of like repairs we had to do. Then we had to encapsulate the whole crawl space underneath, which you guys cannot see, which I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to go there anyways. It's pretty disgusting and gross. But that's basically it for the outside. We love these brick exterior because there's like no maintenance that is required for the property. And then we have this as like a midterm and Airbnb situation. So let's go inside and let's check out what we end up doing there. All right, so welcome inside guys. We actually refinished the floors, we painted, added new lights, added all the furniture you see in the video, new doors basically painted, and let's go into the dining room area. Like I said, new lights. And we also had, the one thing that we had to move is this basically electrical panel. It's on the other side of the wall, which is like where the washer and dryer is at. And obviously it's obstructed, so you can't really get to it. So we had to move that electrical panel. And then we redid the whole kitchen in here, refinished the cabinets. They were already good enough as it is. Added a brand new countertop, a granite countertop, added brand new appliances, including the refrigerator, stove, micro like vent, and then the washer and dryer. And then we also obviously furnished all this stuff here. Thanks to my brother, he did an amazing job of furnishing the property. Let's go into the bathroom's last, but let's go into this bedroom here. So same thing here, added all the furniture, bed, lights, really simple stuff. I mean, try to get this like really nice decor for people to come in to make sure they feel like homey. All right, so how I found this deal was through another SubTo member actually. So he actually found it through his own marketing, and it was a tired landlord. He's in a senior elderly age, and these two units was rented out for troubled kids. So right next door there's troubled kids, and like there's another agency that basically houses them and helps them out. So senior tired landlord, they made a huge mess on both the units, and he just didn't want to deal with it anymore since he just didn't have the energy. So what we ended up doing was we ended up structuring a deal that made sense for him in regards to him not wanting to pay taxes, because if he were to sell this property, he would get a huge capital gains. And since his wife was a CPA, she actually looked over our deal structure where we took over the mortgage subject to, and then we end up paying their equity and seller financing on the back end. 0 down payment and monthly installments of $900 strictly to the principal. So we took over the existing mortgage at the current moment, and then we basically paid him as seller finance equity over time. We have a 7-year balloon, so we're on the 5th year right now, on 2 more years until we got to balloon them out. And this bedroom, more of the same stuff, furnishings, and then the refinish of the floors, paint, lights, all your basic renovation material. So the balloon will probably be right around, I don't know, like $30,000. Okay. It's really low. Okay. Because we bought this property for about $240,000. And so he had about $150,000 of equity in the deal. So over the next 7 years, it's just all strictly principal payments. All right, cool. So in the bathroom here, we basically redid the whole thing. We did the whole tile floor, new vanity, new sink, new mirror, new light. We also reglazed the tile that's here and all the way through the bathroom, all the shower as well. So everything is basically simple and straightforward. Nothing else too crazy here. That's basically it for the bathroom, guys. This is probably around 2,600 square feet, really small duplex, really cash flows. And in this area, very predominantly like fast growing, because there's a lot of, you can say, business moving in here in this particular area of town. Great school district as well, and is like really sought after. in regards to it's being in the county. And I've actually grown up like maybe 10 minutes away from here. So I actually know the area very, very well.
As we wrap up, I know our team has interviewed you, and they'll take this and edit this however they see fit. But as we wrap up the video, last time I hung out with you for a significant amount of time, you were actually raising capital on the Dealmaker stage.
I was.
Is that the number one thing that you need right now? Is it private capital investors, or is it deal flow for buying businesses?
I would say both. I would say probably capital is probably our number one priority, and then deal flow would probably be a close second.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And how can people reach out to you?
They can reach out to me at my Instagram, Phillip H. Ty. It's 2 L's in Phillip, and then H, and then Ty. And then you can also reach me out on YouTube as well.
You know why he has 2 L's? Because you can't win without a couple L's. You know what I'm saying? What's up? We'll see you guys in another video.